Listen, I'm a dad to 4 kids. Of course, I know how to save money on electricity. So today I want to share 12 money saving hacks to help lower your electricity bill. And no, it doesn't include karate chopping your kids' hands every time they get near the thermostat. There are better ways, smarter ways that you can cut your electricity bill potentially in half. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jacob Wade from Lunch Money. I'm a financial coach with a bunch of kids, and I am passionate about saving money on utilities, especially on your electric bill, but without sacrificing comfort. Today, I want to share with you 12 strategies to actually lower your electric bill, including time of use hacks, how to know what to do in specific regions, how to best use smart devices, and seasonal tips to help you save the most money on your electric bill, potentially cut it in half. So let's jump right into number one, which is to know your utility company's time of use rates. Most utility companies employ different rates for different times of the day, and usually the highest rates are at peak times, typically around 4 to 9 p.m. your local time. So using appliances that suck a lot of electricity during peak hours is going to charge you the most amount of money. So if you want to save money, use things like your dishwasher or your dryer, which is a massive energy hog, or even your washer, and use those at different times of the day. So using your laundry, like your washer and dryer, or even your water heater, or taking a shower, or running your microwave, your oven during peak times is going to suck a ton of energy, and they're going to charge you a much higher rate for that use. So if you can avoid using high energy appliances during those peak hours, again, around 4 to 9 p.m., you can pay a much lower rate. The best way we found is just to run the dishwasher overnight or run a little laundry overnight and dry the clothes off peak hours to save ourselves some money. So number two is to get a smart thermostat. Now, this isn't upfront cost, and I've seen lots of research and opinions online that say, oh, they don't really save that much money. But here's the key. The smart thermostat shines in two different ways. One is buying it the right way. You don't spend $200 going straight to get the Google Nest or the Ecobee. You go to your utility company. A lot of times, utility companies are incentivized to lower your energy costs by giving you a rebate on your thermostats. You can get a smart thermostat for maybe like 40 or 50 bucks instead of 200. So you can save money right there. Number two is your smart thermostat can lower your energy costs in a couple of ways. One, by recirculating air. Say you got the air conditioner running and it kicks off after it hits temperature. It's going to keep pushing air through your blower, which uses very little energy, but continues to circulate that colder air. Or, during the winter, it's going to do the same thing with hot air. And number two is to have motion sensors. So when there is no motion in the house, when you have left, or even maybe you have work hours, you can set these in the smart thermostat and it'll bring your temperature way up in the summer or way low in the winter, so you're not excessively heating or cooling your house when you're not there. Just those two changes alone could save you a couple $100 per year. So smart thermostats are worth it, but only if you get them at that discounted rate through a utility company or if you can find a coupon. And then if you utilize those features that help it actually be more efficient with how you use your energy. And a bonus, you can lock it with a code so your kids can't mess with it. Yeah, definitely get a smart thermostat with an app and lock it down. All right, number three is to switch to LED lighting. Now, this is one of those very incremental small savings amounts, but I wouldn't say go and replace every single light in your house. Just replace the most used lights, your hallway, your kitchen, and your bathrooms. Those are the lights that are most used. In addition to switching to LED lighting, use your windows, just light your house naturally. Open the windows or get curtains that are sheer and you can let light in but still give you privacy. Then you don't have to use high power lights so often. But if you are going to get LED lights, buy them in bulk or find a good multi-pack and just replace the most common areas in your home first. If you just like the idea of LED lighting, you can go crazy, but you're not going to save a ton of money if you spend $200-300 on lights right up front. But if you just do those most used lights, you can incrementally bring your energy costs down. All right, number four is to unplug energy vampires, things that are sucking your energy even when they're not in use. Things like your television, your internet modem or Wi-Fi router if you're not using it, if you're not home. Things like lamps or other plug-in appliances and like coffee makers, things like that. They'll actually suck phantom energy from your bill even when they're not in use. Now, again, this is an incremental change. I'm not going to say this is life-changing money, but let's just say you put those things on a power strip or just unplug them when you're not using them. Do the convenient ones, right? If it's stuck behind a wall on a piece of furniture, like it doesn't make any sense to go unplug that thing. But if you have all that stuff, to a power strip, then you just flip that power strip off when you're not home, when you're not using the item, and just flip it back on and wait a minute. Maybe it's the internet. Oh, you got to wait 90 seconds for your Wi-Fi. It's worth it. And you're conserving energy and it's going to lower your bill at the same time. So I highly recommend just finding the items that are the most convenient to unplug or turn off and just do that and save a few bucks. All right. And speaking of power strips, there are smart power strips that will help you save energy automatically without you having to do anything. So the way that this works is essentially if you have an electronic plugged in that has like a standby mode. So like my monitor here for my camera, my computer, these things will go into standby mode when they're not in use. Your home TV does the same thing, and maybe an electronic device. When that happens, it sends a signal that's like it's consuming a lot less power. Where this smart power strip with multiple outlets, that one outlet alone will detect, oh, this thing's in standby mode, shut it off. It now cuts power to this outlet. You're no longer using it. And you can do that for any electronic device. So that will help you save automatically. It's one of those things, just plug it and forget it, and it'll do its thing and save you money in the background. Now, this is great for things like home offices, or like I have this office space here, and I can plug in a smart power strip and it'll shut off the things when I don't need them. So it's just a great way to conserve power. It's automatic. It's in the background. Again, we're talking incremental here, maybe $1 to a month, maybe more if you're a heavy electronics user that can go into standby mode. But it's just another one of those incremental changes that can help you save money over time. Our number 6 is to upgrade your weather stripping and insulation in your home. Now, I would say insulation is a bigger project. For example, I've got a sunroom in my house in Florida. It gets very hot and I need to put some ceiling insulation in it. That's going to take a lot of work. But I would say weather stripping is a quick win that can give you massive power savings, which lowers the amount of heating and cooling you need to do in your home, which is probably the biggest power suck you have, to be honest. So weather stripping is sort of that rubber stripping that goes around the outside of a door or anything that opens and closes. And if that gets worn out, now you've got leaks, cracks in the door, especially on the bottom, like a front door or a back door. If you see light coming through, then you have a leak. That means hot air is getting in during the summer or cold air is getting in during the winter, and that can significantly impact the temperature of your home, which will make your thermostat kick on more often, which will run your HVAC system more often, right? It's going to cost a lot more money. So go on Amazon.com and just look up like door weather stripping and replace all the weather stripping in your house. Or if you could find some extra weather stripping to cover gaps in windows, that alone could save you a good amount of money and help you use a lot less energy in your HVAC system. And I would say a little bonus tip around that is to use thick curtains during the summertime and close those when you have a room like my sunroom, for example. We're about to put some thick curtains up because it's summertime, and that will repel all that extra heat out. And again, keep us more efficient, keep it cooler in the house, and we don't have to run our air conditioner as often. All right, many of you might not have thought of this one before, but set your water heater temperature lower. Now, I have two different water heaters in my house. Don't ask me why, but I've got a electric one and I got one that runs on propane and gas. I can set the propane and gas one digitally, but on the electric one, you actually have to use a screwdriver and dial back the temperature setting. But if you go in and do this, if you dial it down to like 120, for example, you're going to, one, make it a lot safer. I've got a 3-year-old. I don't want her burning her hands by accidentally turning the water on too hot in the bathroom. But number 2, you don't need to heat all of that water up to that much higher temperature and maintain that much higher temperature. So with all the showers I got going on in my house, we've got 6 people there, and all the hot water that we use, this could save us a good amount of money. So again, I've digitally set it on the propane water heater, but I've also got an electric one. So if you haven't done this before, just check out the water heater or Google, your water heater model, how to change the temperature. Usually it's just a screwdriver, just turn it down from 140, which is typically the default, down to 120, and you're good to go. And it'll save you money and you'll still get hot water. 120 is enough to shower in, trust me. All right, number 8 might be a little bit controversial, but wash your clothes in cold water when you can. What I mean by that is if your clothes are raggedy, dirty, and stinky, just use warm water at least. But Most clothes that are just mildly dirty, you can run it through on the cold water cycle. It's going to use 90% less energy when running that washer because 90% of the energy is used heating up that water when you're running it. Just use cold water, run it through its cycle. And with modern detergents, it'll still get just as clean. And then, of course, you can, throw it in the dryer. But if you use cold water when washing, semi-dirty clothes, again, super dirty clothes, do what you got to do. This could save you money. And then speaking of washing clothes, once you're done washing them in cold water, consider getting a line dryer. Now, this is something we actually just got. Our neighbor was getting rid of one, and it's a huge T-shaped metal pole with huge, massive lines on it. But we're going to set it right outside our house. We've got a spot for it. We can get it plugged in, and especially in warmer climates or even in drier climates. In Florida, we can do it for a couple hours, but it'll rain. We got to pull it in. If you're in California, if you're in a desert state, line drying is a no-brainer. One, it smells sweeter and better in the sunshine and breeze out there. But number two, you don't got to run the dryer. The dryer is a massive energy hog and it can cost you a lot of money throughout the month. That's a big chunk of your electricity bill, along with something like an HVAC system. So if you can lower the amount of times you need to use that and you could just line dry your clothes, that could save you money. If you're like, no way, I'm not sticking my clothes outside, you're crazy. This isn't the 1950s. Fine. At least use wool dryer balls. It helps airflow and circulation inside the dryer and helps suck moisture, and it just makes a more efficient drying experience. Your clothes will actually dry on a faster cycle. You don't have to dry them as long. And then I will also say, as a bonus tip on the dryer, clean your lint trap. It's a fire hazard if you don't, and it's also going to take forever to dry if you don't. And then number two is the exhaust on your dryer where the lint goes out. Make sure that thing is cleaned out and doesn't have like a 180-degree bend in it. I've had this before, and it took forever to dry our clothes. And once I reworked the whole thing, it literally dried in half the time. It was crazy. So just make sure you have efficient airflow in your dryer, and you can save yourself a ton of money. All right, number 11 is to use your curtains strategically by season. Now, if you have curtains for privacy, that's great, but they can also be great at controlling the climate in your home. I mentioned earlier getting kind of blackout curtains or temperature control curtains. You can do that in the summertime and close it in rooms where you don't necessarily need window light, or they just get massively hot, kind of like our sunroom. Now, we're going to get thicker curtains, for example, that still let a bit of light in, but will block out a lot of that sunlight, and because the windows radiate so hot when it's almost 100 degrees out. But if we close those up, we'll still get some natural light filtering in, but it'll block a lot of that heat that's pushing into the home and causing our thermostat to continue to cycle on over and over and over again, and it'll save us a ton of money in heating and cooling the home. Now, on the flip side, in the wintertime, if you're in a place that gets really cold, you could also close up windows to keep the cold out. But if you have a sunny day, for example, in the winter time or when it's cold out, open the windows, because your windows, especially if they're double or triple pane, if they're well insulated, will keep the cold air out, but they'll bring the sunshine in, and that'll actually heat up your home naturally. So strategically using curtains, not only for privacy, but for temperature control, can save you a good amount of money on your electricity bill. All right, number 12 is just to keep an eye on your energy usage. Now, my energy company gives me energy reports, and I can log in anytime and see what we're using. And if it goes out of control, I can go, what is happening? Is there something inefficient? Oh man, maybe I need to change the air filter on my HVAC system. Again, another hack. Make sure your filters are always clean. But I can see what's going on and look at the data. And again, of course, we can pull in your energy bills right into the Lunch Money app and show you exactly what's happening month over month. In fact, if you sign up right now, there's a 30-day free trial and you connect your financial accounts. We'll pull in your past data. You can look at your past electricity bills and see when it goes up, when it goes down, what those cycles are. And you can identify, okay, during these months, it's typically a lot higher. Is it hot out? Is it cold out? Are there some of these things we can employ to help us be more efficient with our energy costs? And if you find that your energy costs are out of control, or maybe you don't like the variable up and down, sometimes your energy company will have a budget billing thing where they take the yearly average. I would say after you've lived at a place for about a year, you'll know on average about what it costs per month, and then they can bill it for you on that level. That doesn't save you anything. That just helps you, balance your bills out a little bit. And I'll say maybe one more bonus tip, because I just want to throw one in here, is just get a home energy audit. A lot of utility companies will do this for free. And then, of course, they're going to pitch you windows and all kinds of stuff. You don't have to buy that stuff necessarily from them, but at least get a home energy audit. And then you can know where are the most inefficient places in my home. Maybe it's my windows, right? Maybe I got to figure out either upgrading my windows, or maybe, like I said, the curtain trick is going to be a lot cheaper than brand new windows. Or maybe I've got these leaks. Cool. Go on Amazon.com, buy some weather stripping and fix that problem. So just getting a home energy audit sometimes, like I said, those are free potentially from your utility company. Will tell you a little bit about where you have some inefficient things around your home. And that is something you can then take care of yourself to save even more money on your electricity bill. Now you know how to cut your electricity bill in half. That's only one category in your budget. If you want more ways to save, check out this video I made right here in 15 ways to live below your means and save more money.